Habari Africa. Special greetings from the Medical Missionary Movement Africa chapter. Are you in Kenya, Zambia, South Africa, Ethiopia, Sudan, Tanzania? Uganda is the place to be come 7th to 14th of October 2025. Ask me why? This year we are hosting the annual Medical Missionary Convention, an event that brings together hundreds of medical missionaries from all over Africa and outside the continent for a week packed with powerful messages and lectures about newest interventions in medical missionary lines. That is the spiritual part, hydrotherapy, talk of massages and physiotherapy, talk of herbal formulations, and everything that you need to know about how to reach your neighbor and your friend and yourself. Here we get to learn together and share testimonies of people who have both experienced in their lives and in the lives of others God's special working through natural remedies. You ask me where? We shall be right here where I'm standing in Vizca Resort, Wakiso, just a few kilometers from the capital city, Kampala. A delightful, calm place away from the noise. And the theme is from Isaiah chapter 40, verse 1. Comfort ye my people. And here together, we shall learn how to experience the comfort of the Lord and extend it to our friends and the neighbors. Are you a gospel minister, a pastor, an elder, a deacon? Are you a health professional, a doctor, a nurse, or an allied professional at medical missionary work? Come, this is an opportunity like no other. For more information, you may scan this QR code right here or WhatsApp this phone number for aid on how to register and be ready for the Medical Missionary Convention 2025. May the Lord bless you. I will be there. See you there.
Breadth of view as to what can be realized from the earth. God has put abundances of blessings of work. This is what the Lord wants. Amen? Okay. So we are seeing it is a continuation of that quotation. There is need of intelligent and educated ability to devise the best methods in farming, in building, and in every other department, that the worker may not labor in vain. Brethren, God doesn't want us to labor in vain. He wants us to benefit. God gave good results to our ancestors, Israel, and they would produce abundantly. They had a year where they would spend a long period without even growing, a jubilee year. You remember? No growing, but the soil was giving the word of God. Okay? God can spread a table for his people in the wilderness. Do you remember where we had that word in the wilderness experience? The ancient Israel was saying that, can God prepare for us a table in the desert? And they were they speaking in good terms? Toil. Then we shall see the good effect in the crops. In the beginning, God looked upon all he had made and pronounced it very good. The curse was brought upon the earth in consequence of sin. But shall this curse be multiplied by increasing sin? It's a question. Because we see the curse was brought because of sin. Shall we continue not improving and coming to right? Because we know the opposite of sin is righteousness. Shall we continue with doing the wrong on the soil and think that we shall have results? The word of God continues and says, ignorance is doing its baleful work. Slothful servants are increasing the evil by their lazy habits. But the earth has blessings hidden in its depth for those who have courage and will and perseverance to gather its treasures. Amen? Now, I want to bring you a song. There is someone who sang a song. And that song, we are going to find that that song has good words for us who want to do organic farming. Okay? Now, that song, I'm not going to play it on audio, but it is in written. And it is in Isaiah 5. Okay? Isaiah 5 has that song. And it's here. Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved, touching his vineyard. My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a fruitful hill. Now, I want us to follow closely with this song. We are going to find that this song has what we need in organic agriculture. Okay? It has started by saying, this beloved has a vine. If it is not fruitful, make it fruitful. We are going to see how we can make soil fruitful. Okay? It continues. And he fenced it. Now, if you have grown your crops are not supposed to be interfered with. This song is telling us that the crops are to be protected. What are the enemies of our... Okay, some others like... Okay, thanks very much. But let's first concentrate on the weeds and pests. Actually, all of them, we call them pests. Because they are... Is it okay? So, the pests can also include some even big organisms which can try to fight the growth of crops. So that's why this song is showing us that the place was fenced. Okay? And they gathered out stones. They might interrupt the roots. This is the word of God. And planted it with the choicest vine. Now, when you go back to English, they used to tell us when those early stages that we have good, better, and best. Okay? We have tall, taller, tallest. Now, when you look at this scenario of the seed, we are seeing it is choicest. That means he used the best seed. When you're going to grow crops, use the best seed. Don't use seeds which are not okay, having holes. And also look out for the seeds which are strong, which have vigor. Okay? This, we are still in the song. We have not even yet started our organic farming. But we are almost all the principles are coming from the what? From the Bible, and indeed they come from the Word of God. So, we have seen that he planted with the choicest vine and built a tower. He did all. And when you go to the New Testament, you discover that there's another scenario. And he said, let's dung it what? More and give it another year. Why should it come by the ground without fruit? Christ did his best to this garden. I'm not going to go into the spiritual perspective, but I want to remain in the has done. That he can tell, he can even present the question, what haven't I done? When you're planting your crop, the time should come and at least you say, what haven't I done? Okay? Not that I left out this. What haven't I? At least that God is going to give us the fruit of our works. In today's time, we're seeing that people are failing to treat chronic diseases. These diseases are called these days lifestyle diseases because they take long for people to get them. They take a long time. They take someone's life. Then when they have come to stay. People are failing to treat them. Someone who has failed to treat these diseases. Actually, people have failed. We, as Adventists, will we continue using things which are going to lead us even to these diseases? Shall we encourage people to consume products which are leading to these diseases? I believe not. Okay? That's why we are saying that the only solution is organic farming. That's the only way of rescue. And we're going to look at organic farming in detail. There comes organic farming. And I put the definition there. In simple terms, organic farming is the growing of crops without synthesis. It is GMOs. GMOs, genetically modified organisms. That is the problem we're having today in agriculture. GMOs is the problem, and it is the trend. When you go to these agriculture institutions, they are over-promoting GMOs, and they are against. And a lecturer was teaching you organic farming, but was against organic farming. Can you imagine such a situation? He's teaching organic farming and says, I'm teaching you organic farming. But don't think that you should go organic. That was the real scenario that we went through. Someone is teaching you what he is against, just because he is supposed to teach you. That's why organic farming, there is a war. Okay? Just like there is a great controversy, even organic farming has a great controversy. But according to what I've seen, it is possible, and God will give us the results. I don't know whether you have ever heard about Ellen White method. It is well known. Have you heard about it? Why is it known up to today? Ellen White method was a method of planting trees. And trees are the most disturbing things in today's world. But they can grow using that Ellen White's method, which is organic. Pesticides. Then organic farming encourages biodiversity. If you are to do organic farming, you should have many living organisms in your soil, in your land. We are going to discover that you can't do organic farming without rearing. Yes, I know we should not eat flesh, but we are going to realize that it might be hard. We have for sustained fertility of the soil, kept in fertility, fruitful here. Okay? Don't forget that song, please. Then the other one is, it reduces human and animal health hazards. When humans are feeding on food which has no those synthetics, it's going to have fewer. If you're not a fan of animals, you will need to get stock or these inputs from the people who are doing it. These inputs from the people who are doing it to your farm. And we are discovering that the most important thing when you have to do good nutrient management, you're supposed to have fertilizer. Now, some people think fertilizer is not good, isn't it? But you're going to discover that we are supposed to have a certain fertilizer for organic farming. Let me first define a fertilizer. A fertilizer is any material which, when applied to the soil, supplies nutrients essential for plant growth. So any material, if you can get it, it is fertilizer. If you can go and get plant residues and you apply it to your garden, it is fertilizer. Okay? Now, let's talk about these sources of fertilizer that we can use. The first one is you can use farmyard manure. You get the manure from animals. It can work. Then you can get compost. Compost requires some processing. We say that organic farming, somewhere it may need processing. So composting is going to require some process. But when you get the product, it is good and it is worthwhile. It is going to boost your production. The other one is biogas slurry. If you're doing biogas, if you're having biogas digester, that thing which comes out, it is also recommended. If you have a toilet which can release that slurry, you can use it. Yes, you can use it. And if you're using maybe for the animals, still you can use it. Some people even use plant material for biogas. Everything which is coming from there is recommended. It's good. Yes. Like the slurry, when it is, if there are some, we have toilets around here which are biogas connected. So if it is not biogas connected, that means you find ways of in society, when you're using that thing, you must treat it. That's how society wants it. But if it goes through biogas, if it is used in biogas format, it's okay. But if it is not used in biogas, the society says that you have to first treat it so that it is recommended. Okay? Yes. Why do we treat it? Because sometimes they are heavy metals. And heavy metals are not good. That is the general major problem. Because we have the sewage companies here. National Sewage here in Uganda is called National Sewage Corporation. It uses that for fertilizer. But they first treat it. Okay? They first treat it, they call them cakes. Then they sell them. And I was told that most Kenyans are the ones even who are buying them. I think Ugandans have not yet started buying. But most Kenyans are the ones who are buying. So they have seen the importance. So it is good. Yes? The process of removing it is a little technical to treat it. But if you can use biogas, it's okay. Naturally, when it goes through that biogas digester, it is just ready. Okay? Because those microorganisms which work on it make sure that the thing is ready. Those green manures, you grow crops which are leguminous. Then, when they are around flowering time, you plow them in the soil. You dig them into the soil. By that stage, they are containing a lot of nutrients. So they are going to add onto the soil. Then you can also do vermicomposting. Now, vermicomposting, you use earthworms. These earthworms, there is a way they can make good out of the wastes. They make what we call vermin, they call them worm castings. Okay? They even eat soil, and then they release it as a waste, but that soil, it comes out as a casting. Confuse someone? Then they make them soil. They come back them continuously. And I wouldn't encourage people to use cow dung primarily. If you are to use cow dung, I would suggest that you mix it with other plant materials and you first compost it. Because research was made and it showed that the cow dung contains good levels of nitrogen. But the problem, when nitrogen is exposed to sunlight, it is lost. So by the time you plant it, it is not having nitrogen. And yet these crops need a lot of nitrogen. So that's why it is important that if you want to maintain, I would suggest you compost so that you have this nutrient. And when you're composting, you cover what you're composting so that you don't lose our nitrogen. When you go and you apply it in the soil, it is rich. Okay? So, those are the various sources we can use. Now, we have composting. I think it is good looking, isn't it? You can make composting using kitchen scrap. You can use residues. You can use cow dung. All those are good sources. At the end of the day, it's going to give you a good crop. The other advantage of composting, it kills even the germs. There are sweet seeds which were in them. You find that some of the plants have seeds, have diseases. Now when you compost, those diseases are not going to come back. During the composting process, they die. So that's why it would be a very good way of even eradicating some of the diseases on your farm. So, that is composting. I can take you through the steps very fast. The first, you would have to select a good place, and preferably it should be a shade, maybe under a tree. Then you bring these materials. Now you assemble these materials. These materials, I group them into two. We have what we call the greens and the browns. If you want to have a rich compost, you must have the greens and the browns. The greens stand for nitrogen rich. Whenever you see crops having that rich green, just know that that is nitrogen. Nitrogen plays a very important role in having that green, just like you're seeing around. That is nitrogen. Okay? So the greens contribute to nitrogen. Then the browns contribute to carbon. You know that carbon is what makes up the body crops. Okay? Most of these, the tables, this is plastic, but most of those things, the trees, the tables, the chairs, that's carbon. So when you use those browns, I'm not saying that you get tables, but get the green things and the brown, whether they are old leaves, whether they are green leaves, whether they are what, as long as it is in those two colors, it is going to supply those are the very, very, very important what? Raw materials when you're making compost. So in summary, I can say, select a place suitable under a shade. Then you can choose to make it as a pile or a pit. You can either make it in a pit or you can make it as a pile. But most people have tried it out, say that piles are faster than pits. But also pits have their advantage. Okay? Pits have their advantage. If it is dry season, a pit would be better. If it is rainy season, a heap is better. Then you gather those materials, then you begin layering them. You begin with the brown. You make it up to this level. you're piling, make at least this. Then you go to another layer. After finishing, you go back. Now, in between there, you put a layer of cow dung, if you're having cow dung, or any animal manure. You put it in between there. Okay? You can add in some ash if you have it. It is also going to make it more rich in the nutrients. Then you cover it. You can put a stick into it just to take temperature. Okay? That material has to experience a lot of heat if it is going to mature very well. If you get it becoming cold shortly after you have made it, maybe in a week's time, just know it's not progressing. It must be very hot if it is progressing on well. Then afterwards you mix. Then you can say after every week I turn. The more you turn, the more it breaks well. The less you turn, the more you affect its time of decomposition. It will take more time. What you would harvest in a month's time, you may need to harvest it after 2 months. So you choose. You turn it often, at least a week or 2 weeks, it is okay. Then you harvest it early. I'm going to show you another method which is easier. Maybe let me talk about it. It's a little ahead. I want to finish composting from here. So it is also composting. Most people call it bokashi. I don't know whether some of you have heard about it. You have heard about it. Yes, it's also a very good way. It is a faster way of composting. Because people, when they are composting, this one takes time. But bokashi can take around 2 weeks when it's ready. Okay? It takes a short while. In bokashi, you can use any materials. You can use the coffee husks. You can use the wood shavings. You can put in cow dung. You can make them in a ratio, a similar ratio. Maybe you can say, I'm using 7 sacks of coffee husks, 7 sacks of cow dung, 7 sacks. Are you getting it? If you want to make big quantities, 7 sacks of soil, topsoil. You can also add in charcoal dust. You can add in maize bran. You're going to use molasses. You're going to add in ash. Then you're going to use microorganisms which are going to decompose. Yes, you use the yeast. I think here yeast is recommended. Yes, here you.
When you go to food chain, you get it? The decomposers are made for plants. There's no problem there.
Thanks, Elder. So you use these decomposers to fasten the process. Okay? And within 2 weeks and the 3 other days which follow, you need to turn it 2 times. Because it is very hot. It's very hot. Actually, if you don't turn it, you might even kill these organisms. And then they don't finish the process. You have to turn it at least 2 times for the first 3 days. Then afterwards, you begin turning once a day. After 2 weeks, it is ready. You want to make sure that you're having the nutrients available all the time to sustain your garden or your farm. You can even do it for a big farm. Okay? And afterwards, you begin applying to your crops. Is that well understood? Yes. The second process. We talked about composting. We are still on composting. Yes. This one. Is it that? Molasses. Bokashi. Yes, bokashi. It's bokashi. For compost, faster composting. Yes. Bokashi. You forgive me. Should I do it slowly? Okay. So we need to have coffee husks. We need to have cow dung or manure. We need to have charcoal dust. We need ash. We need molasses. We need yeast. We need maize bran. We need topsoil. Those are the major ones. You can also use, instead of coffee husks, you can use wood shavings. Instead of coffee husks, you can use wood shavings. Yeah, some people may not access the coffee husks, but coffee husks would be the best. But in case you can't access it, you can use wood shavings. Are we on platform? Okay, the quantities, the coffee husks, it depends on what quantities you want to make. The ratio, you've put 7 for most, apart from maize bran. Maize bran, yeast, and molasses. I'm going to give you the ratios, but majorly, most of these others, you put 7 sacks if you're going to make at least a big quantity. You have small gardens. Okay, if you're going to use maybe for a small garden, you can use 1 sack. 1 sack of each. Then the molasses, you can just use around 5 liters, 2 liters, depending on your quantity. Then maize bran should be less. You can make it less compared to others. Are you getting it? You may not need to make maize bran to be at the same level with the coffee husks. You can reduce it a bit. Are we together? Okay. So we are continuing. It needs a shade. Yeah, it needs a shade. It can be outside, but where it is protected. Maybe a tree is around. When you are doing it, you have to put a layer of maybe polythene so that you don't lose our nutrients. Yes, and you have to cover so that we don't lose the nitrogen, because nitrogen is lost because of heat or exposure. So most important thing, cover downwards. The downer part should be covered, then up should also be covered. Then should be in a shade to control the temperatures. All right. Now I'm talking about this also. You know, in organic farming, we need to be effective. You know, we have had very many years where people have been using a lot of these synthetic chemicals, which are always killing. You know, when you use chemicals, it is about eliminating, just eliminating. Whether what you're eliminating may be good at some level, when it comes to conventional culture, elimination, we don't want to know. Okay? Yet, you may eliminate something and it's going to affect somewhere. Now, that somewhere, you find that we have lost very many microorganisms. Biofertilizers are prepared microorganisms which are going to help in availing important nutrients in the soil. In simple terms, that's what I can say on biofertilizers. By the mere fact that it's bio means living. There is life. Then fertilizers, it's going to help in fertilizing. So the biofertilizers are prepared formulations of living organisms that can be applied to the seed, to the soil, to the roots, okay? And they are going to improve the fertility. Are you seeing those crops there? Are you seeing those images? When you put a biofertilizer called mycorrhiza, the root system there is seeming to be wider than the crop, isn't it? That root system is beneficial, and it is going to help in availing even the nutrients which would be very far are going to be brought nearer. But it is an association with mycorrhiza fungi. Otherwise, you would be seeing a small plant with its small root system. But it has made the root system wide, and there all the nutrients can easily be. That association makes sure that the nutrients are brought from wherever they would be, and they are brought nearer. Okay? So that is mycorrhiza, the first picture. The next picture is for what we call azolla. I don't know whether you have heard about azolla. You have heard? Some have heard. Yeah, people are knowledgeable. These things, information is there. So azolla is also another biofertilizer. It normally grows on water, stagnant water. You can even grow it yourself. Then when you grow it, afterwards you harvest it, then you can even incorporate it into the soil. This one has been mostly used for rice growth, azolla. It has done well. Then the other one is just a crop. So we also have what we call rhizobia. Have you heard about rhizobia? Have you heard about bradyrhizobia? Maybe you'll hear about it. These are also very good at nitrogen. You know, we have problems with nitrogen. That's why when you look at the conventional agriculture, they make sure they avail, they get only NPK, and they boost crop growth. They avail nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and crops grow. Now what about us who are doing organic farming? Can we do it without organic or without enough nitrogen? No. That's why we need to you can get these rhizobia, and you put them on the seeds. So they are going to do what we call nodule formation. You know, legumes form nodules. Those nodules contain rhizobia. But when you add in more rhizobia, you're going to make them to have enough nodules which are going to be pulling or fixing nitrogen from the atmosphere to become available. Because this nitrogen is in abundance. And there is a reason why God made a lot of nitrogen to be in the atmosphere. But when you look at the nitrogen being too much, you find that we humans, we don't use nitrogen directly. Even the plants don't use nitrogen direct. But God has put these microorganisms called rhizobia, they fix it. Okay? So when you have their populations, since they have been removed so much by synthetics, you put them in the soil such that they help in fixing that nitrogen. you're going to find that you can get even around 30 kilograms of nitrogen per given period. When you talk about nutrients, some people think when you apply 1 bag of cow dung, it contains the required nitrogen. No. The nitrogen you need you may need around 30 kilograms, but you are provided 1 bag. You may find that that 1 bag of cow dung contains 0.1 kilograms of nitrogen. This is the truth. That's why if you use some of these organisms, you're going to facilitate when you're applying your manure, that is giving them food. And they also, picking the one which is in the atmosphere, they are going to avail the recommended nitrogen. And the crops are going to grow vigorously well. Okay? So we need to use some of these natural organisms. Yes? Rhizobia is not a plant. It is a microorganism. It is a bacteria. How can you? You can get it. Now, right now, it is information sharing, but with time, I can make sure, if you are to be around, we can see how you can get it. They are bacteria. The rhizobia are bacteria. Okay? So, we have now continued. What types of biofertilizers are available? And I've tried to specify some. Those are rhizobia for legumes, azotobacter for non-legumes. We have acetobacter for sugarcane. Then we have blue-green algae. Can also be used for all these, for most crops. Those are some of the examples. So when you go to rhizobia, we have the ones which are specific for beans. We call them rhizobia. The ones which are more helping in soya, we call them bradyrhizobia. We have now let's go to phosphorus. We have enough phosphorus in the soil. But the problem with phosphorus is availability. Phosphorus is always fixed. Okay? So we have a problem of fixation. That's why we need to use these Pseudomonas species. When you use them, they are going to avail phosphorus. You can have you can even apply rock phosphate. Actually, the phosphorus that we apply as organic, we call it rock phosphate. But even though you apply rock phosphate, when you apply it, sometimes it is going to be fixed. It is either fixed by being highly acidic or being more alkaline. I don't know whether I'm using a wrong language. Like when the soil is so acidic or far from acidic, it makes this phosphorus not to be available. That's why you may need to put these Pseudomonas species and mycorrhiza to avail it. Okay? So you can apply it to the seed, to the seedlings, and also to the soil. My time is running. Let me try to run through. So you can apply it, like you're seeing there, to the soil using small quantities according to what you want to do. You can use maybe 200 grams in around 400 mils of water. You put something which is to stick to stick to the seed, you can put it in around 10 kilograms of beans or of crop you're going to inoculate or to plant. And then you do it. I don't know whether we are moving together. Are we together? Okay. So that is with biofertilizers. I want to leave biofertilizers. Okay. I've talked about some. That one is bokashi. We also have liquid manure. Liquid manure, you can mix many things. You can mix the plant residues. You can use, there's a plant called tithonia. I don't know whether you know it. Tithonia. We also have Russian comfrey. Yes, comfrey. You can also use that one. It is very good at decomposing very fast. So you cut it in pieces, you put in a given drum, you cover, then you can be using whenever you want. After, you can leave it for some time and decompose it like a month's period. Then, you'll be using accordingly. That is liquid manure. Okay? That's another enemy of our crops. And most people these days are using herbicides because they think actually it has become the normal, the new normal to use herbicides to eliminate the weeds. And those are the ones which are common here. I don't know the ones which are common in Ethiopia. I don't know the ones which are common in Kenya. Those ones are very common here. And I think they might be the common in the various countries. So we have those other weeds. So they make the garden to be covered with crops which are making loss to our crops. So weeds' existence in the garden or farm is a great hindrance for crop growth. Therefore, their management is a very good program for you to have if you are to have success. Most people joke with the weeds. We are going to see the methods of eradicating them. Please don't allow weeds if you are to do organic farming. I've moved to some farms and I've seen people allowing weeds, and they call it biodiversity. They say we are having biodiversity, but the weeds are outcompeting their crops. So we need not to give them chance. So if you are to eradicate them, these are the ways we can do it. The choice of crop and variety. You need to choose crops which are vigorous. Okay? You can use crops which are vigorous. Maybe they have more leaf. You find that crops which have more leaf, there's a way they are going to cover. This is just depending on how you're doing it, and even the weeds that you have. I'm considering every factor in its direction. So this one I'm talking about the choice of crop and variety. If you use a variety which is slow growing and not vigorous, the weed is going to outcompete it. Another one is mulching. Now this, I recommend mulching. But mulching, people find hard time to use it. But if you do mulching effectively, you're going to overcome even the labor challenge we have in the garden. Because the truth, it is laborious, but it is effective. Mulching. If you do enough mulching and you don't allow these weeds, if you cover them, even when they are trying to grow from beneath, you just go and you pass a little bit, they also die and they continue adding to your mulch. When you do that and you maintain the mulching routine, you're going to overcome the weeds. Why? Because mulching suppresses weed growth. We have, using the green cover, you make sure that your soil is always covered at least with a plant of your choice. If you leave it bare, these weeds are going to grow. So make sure you don't leave the soil bare. I've talked about mulching. Then we have crop rotation. Crop rotation is very effective by it breaking the life cycle of these weeds. It is going to eliminate these pests, these weeds. So you can use all these methods, or you can use two, and you see that you control the weeds which would be overgrowing your garden. So sowing time and density. At what time do you sow? If you make delays and maybe the conditions of the soil are favorable, but you have grown late your crop, you're going to find that it is going to be overcome by weeds. Okay? So you need to make sure that you sow in time, such that those good conditions of growth favor your crop. By the time the weed wants to make it, it finds that the crop is strong and cannot outcompete it. Then do balanced fertilization. You apply the fertilizer, our organic fertilizer, at the right place. If you over apply it anywhere, even the parts where maybe you have spaced, you may find that the weeds are also going to benefit and they are going to grow. So if you do balanced fertilization, it encourages your crop to grow against the weed. Soil cultivation methods. If you're doing minimum tillage, if you're applying enough mulch and you're doing minimum tillage, you're going to find that you are avoiding the weeds to grow, and you're not going to you're not going to be opening the soil over and over for these seeds of weeds to grow. So you'll be, in other words, limiting. This is what you call preventive measures, and the weeds will not come in. Then sanitizing of your tools, animals, and seeds. Make sure you use seeds which are weed-free. Then you'll be managing the weeds. Then we also have biological method. It is not clear?
You must use seeds that are weed-free.
Yes. You can do some treatments to the seeds such that you eradicate the weeds, the weed seeds. If not, find all ways of preventing. When you're having those specific seeds you're going to use, protect them in a special way. They will be weed-free. Yes, because we find that weeds are easily spread everywhere. But you do, to a great extent, protect your seed from exposure. Because we know that you need to have your seed protected. That specific seed you're going to be using should be protected. If you don't protect it, it is going to be affected by some of these weed seeds, and they are going to find ways of growing. I don't know whether I've answered your question. Then you can also use biological ways. We have those insects. That's why it's not good always just use insecticides. They may kill even the beneficial. Some of those insects can eradicate weeds by just their natural food. Okay? Like the other one, which is on the green. That one can eat the water hyacinths. In case you're living in a place which is having water hyacinths. Then that one can also eliminate the one they call the striga. I don't know whether we know the striga. Striga, they call it witchweed. Here in Uganda, it's called witchweed. But that is biological. It depends on the crop, the insects that you have in your garden. Now we have entered pests and diseases. That's another problem we have in our garden. If you are to do organic farming, you need to control pests and diseases effectively. Because we know that a pest is an organism that leads to destruction of our crops. So every organism which is going to lead to destruction of our crops must be eliminated. Remember our song, there was put a fence. Sometimes you may need to put a fence to eradicate some of the pests. Sometimes you're going to find that you need to use other ways of eradicating pests. A pest refers to those organisms which have, sometimes the pest might not be, there's no pest which is existing naturally. But just because sometimes their population grows to levels that are destructive, that's when they bring problems to our crops. So you need to eliminate it from disturbing your crop. Then disease refers to an impairment of normal state, which can even affect normal functioning or distorting functioning. So when you look at those pictures, you're seeing the other one is having a pest for the maize. Okay? The borer is disturbing the maize. Then the other one is a disease. Diseases can be seen by this, we have said impairment. When you look at your leaves, when you look at other leaves are green, others are. Okay? So that is about the pests and diseases. I'm going to try to run through because of time. We need to, if you are to eradicate pests and diseases, you need to select clean seed and planting materials. Now this is cleanliness. Yeah? You need to use suitable cropping systems. Avoid monocultures. Avoid growing only one crop. It is going to become hard to apply organic farming. Make sure you always, that's why we encourage crop rotation. Use balanced nutrient management. When you give crops enough nutrients, they are going to be strong enough to fight for themselves. Even the pest can have less effect. But if you're giving it less, when you look at most of the plants which are affected by disease, you look at the soil, it is having a problem. The soil is not having nutrients. That's why I go back to what I told you. When the soil is well catered for, you are going to be able to control the pests and diseases, and even the weeds you can easily overcome them, of course, by using other cultural ways. But with disease and any other problem, please, soil. Improve the soil, nutrient levels. Input of organic matter. Okay? So input of organic matter increases of microorganism density. By increasing microorganism density, it is going to eliminate the dangerous microbes. That means it's going to outcompete the dangerous microbes, and our crop is going to be moving on well. Then you need to use good water management. Avoid using water anyhow. Sometimes you may encourage these fungal diseases because water is too much. They can easily flourish in waterlogged areas. You need to conserve and promote natural enemies, like we talked about them in weed management. There are some natural enemies, some natural insects which may be good for our crops. Select optimum planting time and spacing. So make sure you use right planting time when the plant is strong, and also spacing. So we need to do monitoring, regular monitoring, because you can easily identify and you do the recommendation. We are going to talk about what you can do as natural pesticides. That's why you now need to do a lot of monitoring. When you monitor, it can be easy for you to know when to apply a given natural pesticide, where you're going to go to, and also to help you to know the dosage, how you control your dosage. So now I'm talking about the natural pesticides. Because of time, I want to go through them very fast. One of the natural pesticides you can use is neem tree leaves. That one is very good. It can eliminate some of these pests by affecting them when it comes to feeding on your crop. And also, it has insecticidal. It can kill some of those insects which are dangerous. And it is also antifungal. So when you use neem tree leaves, you're going to eradicate very many. Most of these can kill very many. You can either use neem tree leaves. Let me talk about all of them. You can use it as a single. You can also use it in a combination. So you can also use pyrethrum. Here in Uganda, it is not so common, but maybe in your country, maybe having pyrethrum, you can use it to control the pests and diseases. It has also insecticidal property. It can kill. We know the chili. The chili is very good. It is anti-feedant. It has insecticidal properties. Okay? It has repellent properties. So I'm going through them very fast. It can help in eradicating that pest you're seeing there. You can also use garlic. How you can use garlic? You can just crush garlic and then you mix it. I'm going to tell you how you use it as a general. I'm going to take the whole combination, because you can use it singly, but you can also use it in a combination so that you don't leave room. Okay? So you can use, let me first talk about garlic. Let me talk about garlic, chilies, and also neem leaves. So you can use these in a combination. The neem leaves, maybe you can use 2 kilograms of neem leaves. Okay? I'm giving you the ratio. 2 kilograms of neem leaves. As people are happy. Is it hard to make the kilograms? 2 kilograms of neem leaves. Then you can get a bulb of garlic. Yes? I'm giving you the ratio. You can increase it according to the dose you want to make. So you can just make a bulb in the 2 kilograms. Yes. A bulb of garlic. Then you can add in a handful of the chilies. Okay? So you have, of course, all of these ingredients. You have to find ways of crushing them. Okay? You crush them or you pound them. It depends on how you're doing it. Then after pounding them and making sure that they are small in size, in good sizes, then you're going to blend. Okay? Or in case you can't blend, you can use this mortar and pestle and you extract the juice from it. Then afterwards, after extracting that juice, you boil especially the water. You boil water, 1 liter. That is for this combination I've told you. You boil you should make sure that it doesn't overboil, just next to boiling point. Then after boiling, reaching that boiling point, you mix these things all together. You can even add in potato vines. You can also crush them, just a handful. Then you mix in that water which has almost reached the boiling point. Okay? Then after that, you put a spoon of cooking oil. Okay? When you put a spoon of cooking oil, you extract what you have made. Okay? That one you can apply. So now that 1 liter, if you're going to be using it, you put it in 10 liters of water. If the problem is more powerful, you can increase the dosage. But it is going to eliminate that pest and disease problem. I don't know whether I've tried to elaborate. Because of time, let's try to run through. We also have tephrosia. It is a weedy crop. It can easily grow. If you get the seedling, you can easily grow it. And it can easily grow and produce for you very many. I didn't come with them, but I can avail them in case they are needed. So that is tephrosia. Tephrosia, you can use it by getting those leaves, then you ferment them. That there are 2 ways. You can ferment them and use it. You give it like 1 month. 1 month is period after fermenting them. If you want to use it right away, you get the tephrosia, you pound. After pounding, you boil water. Okay? You boil water and put in these tephrosia leaves, then you mix with cassava flour. Okay? Then after mixing, you can use it right away. But when you're going to spray, you have to refilter it. Are you getting it? You have to refilter it so that it does not clog your nozzles. Pardon? This one, if you're going to apply using the other method of fermentation, you can 1 liter can apply. Actually, the other one for fermentation, 1 liter, you can break it, you can dilute it. Yes. It kills? It is so strong. It is so strong. So you have to regulate the dose. Okay. I think let's end it here. That's organic farming. In case of any other thing, maybe we shall see how we organize. But at least we have handled what is very important for us to be able to overcome and do good crop production organically. Thanks very much. May God bless you. Okay, there is a question.
It's 1 to 10.
Yes.
No, when we are mixing with the cassava flour.
Okay, when you're mixing with cassava flour.
Yes.
Okay, so it depends on the kilograms you've made. If you have pounded, say, 8 kilograms of cassava flour, of our tephrosia, you're going to add in half a kilogram for the 8 kilograms. Half a kilogram of cassava flour for the 8 kilograms. Then you can mix it with around 10 liters of water. And you spray without dilution. That one is fresh. Okay?
Yes, thank you so much. Now, there's something that I had wanted to add for weed control.
Yes.
For weed control, we can use plants. It depends on the crops that you have in your garden. So there are plants, there are beans called muchuna. The muchuna beans, you're going to Google them because you are going to find them. When you use muchuna, muchuna is also a nitrogen fixing. Muchuna, the seeds, we give them to poultry, and the leaves we mix in the cows' feeds. So it gives both sides. The muchuna, it helps to eliminate the other weeds. It's only that what you have to do is to make sure that it does not climb the plants. You just have to take care, just like that. But as you trim them, you're taking to the animals. At the same time, when the beans are ready, you crush them together with the poultry feeds. Yes. Then another thing is about fermentation. You find we have got so many things that we have in our kitchens. Like there are the leftovers, there are the peels. For example, the pineapple peels. That is, if you have not made a juice out of it, you can add it into the fermentation jar. You get it, you put some holes in one container because you want the fermented juice to come down. We are going to trap it. When you get all that you can find in the market, because for us here, the markets are filled with things that they are going to throw. Then you can collect them, take them into that container which you have put holes under it, and you make it sit in another container. Or you can improvise something like stones. What do we want? We want to get the juice and put a tap on the container. When you get the juice, for the 10 liters, you can add molasses of 1 liter. Then you spray. It is friendly. It's not like this one where I will have to. It is too smelly. But this one, it's not smelly. Yes. It is a fertilizer. It's a fertilizer. It's not a.
But you also talked about weeds.
Yes.
Mm.
For the weeds, I said we use muchuna.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thanks very much. Yeah, I think that's all. Pardon? For another one, eh? It will depend on the program. Okay, thanks very much.
I have It's not a question. Just how we can get the materials, and if we have any video, how we can get the all links, so that we can read and we can just expand it.
The materials on like literature. This one I can share it with you. Yeah, it's okay. Okay.
Combinations. Thank you. I'm repeating the question. Why should we use cassava flour? What is the importance of using cassava flour to our that management? And can we use cassava flour in any other portions?
Okay, thanks for the question. We use cassava flour to do sticking. Yes. Actually, I didn't even give you the other reason why we use cooking oil. Even the other one where we use cooking oil, we use it for sticking purposes. So it does not just go off when it rains so much. It goes off just like that for sticking purposes, majorly. In garlic, we normally use cooking oil. Yes. There's another question?
The birds, like if you're doing, the big pests, not the small ones, like a mole eating the tubers and the birds. Like sometimes if you're planting a new, let me look like sorghum, or you're planting a new grain and you're the only one planting that one, I've had that experience. The birds will eat it all, or sunflower. So those are bigger pests.
Thanks for the question. Those big pests, the best way to control them is still trapping. We have to do the trapping. Yes, it is a little challenging, but we have to do the trapping. We make those traps and we get those moles. That is the major way, because they are big. Yeah, even when a human being is disturbing your crop, you have to control him by maybe fencing, but we have to use...
About snails. Snails.
Most of these we have talked about can control those snails. When you spray your garden, like when you use a combination of chilies, of garlic, it has antfeedant, anti-insecticidal. Some of these, there's a way they be. If you apply chilies, when you apply chilies as a pesticide in your garden, even when you're making it, people who are trying to get to you, they feel like they should not get to you. So when you apply it in the garden, even these Amen, amen. We thank God, you see.
For the tubers, monkeys were stealing my cassavas and sweet potatoes. And I thought why don't I put cayenne pepper on every... So I put cayenne pepper. They ran away because in our home people kill them and eat them. I feel bad. I say, no, you cannot kill them. Then for the sorghum, we were the only ones with sorghum and the birds would come. So we learned that when you plant sunflower inside, the birds come, they cannot finish because they are attracted to the sunflower. And so you are able to harvest them.
Thanks, Madam, for that. No, the Bible says knowledge shall increase. So that is wise way of doing it.
Thank you so much for the lesson. I think my question is on, I just want to be clarified on the myth. Organic is very low, so I just want to be clarified on that one. Then secondly, what we've learned, can it be done on a commercial scale? How would be the yield? This organic we've just learned. Can you apply it to commercial when you want to do commercial farming? Yes. And the yield will be great.
Yes, it is possible. Very possible. The farm where I went and I did my volunteership from, it was doing it on commercial level. It is possible. I saw it and I experienced it. Okay? So it is really possible. If you avail the nutrients in big quantities like we have said, the other one, you can make the bokashi, you can make the compost, you can make the liquid fertilizer. When you avail them, it is very possible. It is really possible.
Just to add something on pests and even thieves. Nowadays, we can also apply technology, especially the AI technology. There are some technologies that I've seen in the market. Normally, they come from China and India, where the system that uses a solar, just a small solar, you install it in the farm. Immediately detects even a monkey, even a bird coming. It gives some rays that repels them or some noise that repels them. Even if it's a thief, before the thief reaches your farm, already the AI is already seeing it and can even send you pictures. They can even send you pictures. You can even see if it's your neighbor. You just see your neighbor just moving around. If you see moving more than many times, yeah, this person has something. And they are very cheap. Like in Kenya, so one of the best technology that can repel these big pests or even thieves goes as cheap as 6,000 shillings. That's less than $100.
Oh, thanks for that. So we are realizing these things are possible. We can use the knowledge that has increased and reproduce our crops organically. Yes, it is very possible. I'm seeing another hand.
The rotation you're talking about is also a fertilizer by itself. If you grow like groundnuts, G-nuts, and then you follow it with maize, the maize is much better than when it's just doing, as you're saying, don't do monocropping, but when you follow them like that, the G-nuts add a lot of nutrition. I've seen that. So even that rotation helps as a natural fertilizer. Yeah. So you can even do it in commercial. So this season, maybe you do something that will add nutrition. Then the next season, now you do something else that takes a lot of nutrition from the ground, and you can help. That can help.
In any road going to be, so that it helps in fixing nitrogen back to the soil. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Mr.